Let's go ahead and start talking about how you actually use your toilet. The way that you use it, kind of your practices are going to have a big impact. As I mentioned earlier, your process is just as important as the products that you use. So we talked about the products, we kind of know where we need to go with that. But as far as process, we're going to talk through this now. Earlier in the video, we set all of our hoses and our discharge hoses and everything up outside. People get kind of hung up on this, so let me kind of explain the process. You park your RV, you set your hoses up, and then the next step is you need to treat your holding tank. For some reason, especially when people are new at RVing, they kind of get confused when you should treat your tank. Some people think you just use your tank and then you add a tank treatment right before you dump it. You don't do that. You want to add your tank treatment as soon as you get set up, so it's constantly working inside the tank while you are at the RV park. Let's go ahead and show you real fast kind of how the toilet works, how to use the tank treatment, but let's just kind of step in here. We'll go through some of the basics. Okay, so pretty much all RV toilets are about the same. Some are made from porcelain, some are ceramic, some are plastic, just depending on like the trim level of your RV. Some of the fancier ones have what are called macerating toilets. We're not going to really go into that, but these are basically self-contained systems where it's electric. You push a button, it flushes the toilet. It has a blade that chops up all the waste inside there. You will find macerating toilets. They're not uncommon, but this right here is what you see in most RVs, okay? So real simple. If you want to come in here, I'll kind of point out some of the components, but basically the big important things to know here are you have a ball valve in the bottom there, and around that ball valve is a black gasket. And you can kind of see there's some water in here. I'm going to add a little bit of water. When I add the water, you'll notice it doesn't empty out. And the reason it doesn't empty out is because that black gasket is holding that water in place, okay? So we'll come back to that, but basically when you're using your toilet, the first thing you want to do when you get to the RV park is you get parked, you get set up, and then you treat your toilet. So to treat your tank, what you want to do is you want to fill your bowl. It doesn't have to be all the way, but you want to get a decent amount of water in there. And the way I'm filling my bowl is just by partially pressing down on the foot pedal. If I was to push all the way down, it would actually flush the toilet. But if I push it just partially down, it adds water. So now you're going to take your holding tank treatment. In this case, we're using the RV Digested Ultra. This product uses 1 ounce. So I've already kind of squeezed it up in here. And you're going to literally pour your 1 ounce into the toilet, just like that. And then you're going to flush it down. So this time I'm going to push the pedal, I'm going to push it all the way to the floor, which allows the ball valve to open, and now it's dropping down into the tank there. Now here's the thing. People kind of call this, they call it charging your tank. Again, you just got set up, you just got your hoses put in, you're now adding your toilet treatment. You want to have some water inside that tank so that the bacteria actually have water to thrive off of. Bacteria need food, that's your poop and your paper, but they also need water. A good rule of thumb is to put a few gallons of water into that black tank so they don't just go inside a dry tank and die. Keep this in mind. Your toilet is on top of your tank, then you have your tank, and then you have the line that comes out where you dump your tank. In some cases, your line might dump way out here. That's where your valve is. In some cases, your valve might be right here. But you might have, especially if you have a 40-foot fifth wheel, 20 feet of pipe that's running before you even get to the valve. So when you're putting water in, you're not just putting water in the tank here, you're putting water in this whole pipe here. So make sure you add a few gallons, and it's also helpful to know your RV. Does your pipe only go this far out, or does your pipe go 20 feet? If your pipe goes 20 feet, adding a few gallons isn't going to do anything for your tank here. You're just putting water way down the line here. If your pipe ends right here, adding a few gallons actually is putting it in the tank. So again, this is where it's kind of nice just to know how your RV works. But either way, you should pre-charge your tank with a little bit of water so that way the bacteria inside the holding tank treatment don't die from dehydration. We've now treated our tank. Now it's time to start using our RV. So again, you treat your tank first, then you use the RV. You don't use the RV and then treat your tank right before you dump. Another type of treatment that's out there, there's 2 other types. This is a stick pack. So the one that I showed you before is liquid. This one is the same type of a treatment, but instead of being a liquid, it's a stick pack. You tear it open and you pour it into the toilet. It's a powder inside here, and that way you don't have to have liquids that would be freezing. Another type of treatment, and this is an important one, people like drop-in pods. The thing about a drop-in pod is you need to make sure it breaks down before you flush it. If you just throw it down in your tank, there's a good chance it's going to land inside the tank there in a dry spot. It's not going to fully break down, and you're not actually treating your tank. So you want to let it dissolve before you flush it. So in that scenario, you fill your toilet bowl up with water, you would drop the pod in, and then you let it sit inside there. Watch it, should take a few seconds, and you'll see that pod slowly dissolve and then crack open. Once it's opened, then you can flush it down the toilet and then add the water to charge the tank. Okay, so those are your 3 types. Let's take a break from the video for a second here to talk about this little guy. This booklet is going to be your best friend. Inside this book, we cover everything. We talk about black tanks, gray tanks, how to use your valves, how to use water, how often to dump your tanks, how to prevent clogs, how to diagnose clogs. Literally, if you have anything wastewater or freshwater related to your RV, it's in this book. So, how do you get one of these? Pretty easy. If you place an order from our website, it will have one. Many RV dealerships around the country have these for free. You can pick one up. Or, right down there in the description, we have a link where you can download a PDF version of it. I'm gonna tell you right now, this thing is a lifesaver. Keep it in the RV. It's got all kinds of QR codes you can scan that take you to videos that cover all of these things. Seriously, this is literally all you need right here. So, sure, this video is fantastic. You're gonna learn a lot here. You might forget some of it. This is a nice thing just to keep in the RV as you're driving around because you don't always have internet everywhere you go. So, grab one of these things and trust me, it's gonna help you out. Back to the video. We've now treated our toilet, now it's time to use it. But before we do, I want to point out something. The same way that I showed you that black gasket holds water in the bowl, it's important that you keep a little bit of water inside your bowl whenever your RV is not moving, okay? Here's why. And we're going to talk about this in a second here, but water is an amazing odor barrier. It's a vapor barrier. So in our black tank down here, you can imagine with all of the liquid and waste inside there, there's all kinds of stinky smells that are happening in there. And those smells can either come up out of the toilet or they can come up out of the vent pipe. If you keep water in your bowl, you keep a vapor barrier so these smells can't come up and into the RV. Unless your RV is moving, unless you're driving, you always keep water in the bowl. Just a few inches, you don't have to do a lot. If you're gonna go number 1, you can use it, you're good to go. If you're gonna go number 2, you want to make sure you have enough water inside the bowl. So if you're going to go number 2, you want to make sure you actually add more water to the bowl. And there's 2 reasons why. 1, more water helps, oops, I held that just a little too much. More water helps flush the water down into the tank, and that way you don't have too much dry waste from your poop and paper going in there. 2, it also helps to add more water to the tank, which is critical for odor control. But we're going to talk about that. So if you're going to go number 2, make sure you fill the tank up, the toilet up a little bit more before you flush. You use the bathroom, do everything you normally would, and then you just flush the toilet down, okay? So after you've flushed, this is important. As you're flushing, don't just do this. Here's what a lot of people do, right? So they've got a little bit of water inside there. They've used the bathroom and they're ready to flush, and they go like this. And they walk away. Well, here's the problem with that. You have your water pump running inside while you're out boondocking. You're gonna get maybe 3 gallons per minute or so through a pump. If you hold that flush pedal down for 10 seconds, you're still getting less than a gallon of water being put in. Just to kind of put that into perspective, your home toilet is gonna be flushing over a gallon every time you flush. So if you just pop that pedal the way I did, all you're doing is you're putting in a bunch of poop and a bunch of paper with a teeny few ounces of water. And what ends up happening is you get an imbalance inside there. So we tell people when you flush the toilet, no matter if it's pee or poop, you always hold your foot pedal down for 10 full seconds while you flush. So literally it's like this. Hold it down, 1, 2, 3, 4, you go all the way to 10. If you do that, what you are doing is this. Here's a little visual. You have your poop and it's inside the tank. If you just pop that toilet down there, the toilet flush, you have the poop that goes in there, but you only have your water level like this because you're not putting enough water in. You can imagine if you've ever walked into a porta potty and you've looked down in there and you see that big pile of waste, how much it stinks. If your waste is not underwater, it doesn't matter how good your treatment is, you're only treating below the water level. All of this exposed waste will always smell. The number one thing to keep your tanks from smelling is to make sure that your water is over your waste. By holding your foot pedal down for 10 seconds, you will assure that your waste stays underwater, okay? And let's take 2 seconds to talk about that. The main ways you control odors in a holding tank, if you're using the right products, so we talked about the products before, bacteria and enzymes are what you want to use. We learned that bacteria control odor because they basically kill off the bacteria from your stomach, the anaerobes that make the stink, and then they start breaking down the waste and they release carbon dioxide and water. But it's important to recognize that bacteria are living organisms. And if that bacteria is inside a tank where there's too little water, what ends up happening is, because there's too little water, if you imagine your stomach is full of it's a hot, acidic environment. That's where the anaerobes love to thrive. If you don't have enough water in your tank, you're gonna turn it into a hot, acidic environment. The tanks will get too hot, your waste will turn it acidic, and now the good bacteria that you were using for your treatment, they're not working anymore. The bad bacteria from your stomach are starting to take over. If you increase the water inside the tank, now you cool it down and you provide more water, which means that the good bacteria from a treatment can go in and do their job, and now the bad anaerobes start to die off. Lock this into your mind. If you're camping at 110 degrees or you're camping at 50 degrees, nothing changes. Always hold your foot pedal down for 10 seconds because you want to keep your waste underwater. If you're camping in excessively high heat and you start to smell something, don't add more treatment. There's billions of good bacteria inside there. What's happening is because you don't have enough water and your tanks are getting hot, you're losing the battle. Add more water. And by adding more water, you're going to cool those tanks down. You're going to give nice water to hydrate the good bacteria, and you're going to get them back to work. And once they get back to work, they will again begin to win that battle against the anaerobes, okay? So this is very simple stuff here. Water, water, water. Keep a water barrier inside your toilet by keeping it a few inches deep. Make sure your waste is always underwater, because if it doesn't, it will always stink no matter what you do. And if you're camping in high heat and you start to smell something, don't add treatment. Add more water. Water truly is the biggest, most important thing you can do here. And here's the thing, most RVers know this, but they still want to go boondock for 3 weeks in the mountains and never dump their tanks. You're gonna have to make that decision. You can't have it both ways. If you want to have odor-free tanks, you're gonna have to use enough water, which means you're gonna have to dump your tanks every few days. Or you can go camping for weeks at a time and not dump your tanks, but you're going to have odors. There's no treatment that's going to keep that part from smelling because it's exposed. It's just up in the air. There's nothing you can do about it. So it's really your choice, but quite frankly, I would say it's best to dump frequently, use more water. That's my preference personally. We now know how the toilet itself works. We know that water is the most critical part of it. We know that you need to use your treatment before you use the toilet, not right before you dump the tank at the end. And we know that best practices, using enough water, dumping your tanks frequently, are the things that are going to help your best products work well. So it's important to know what should and should not go inside a toilet. As we've mentioned, it is totally fine to use your toilet. In fact, we highly recommend it. We've also talked about how you can use household toilet paper. You don't need to use special RV toilet paper. But really, that's kind of it, right? So we talk about the 3 Ps. You're allowed to go pee, poop, and put paper in the toilet. There are a few things you should never, ever, ever put in your toilet. Flushable wipes. Just because they say flushable does not mean they should be flushed. Can guarantee you this. If you use flushable wipes in your black tank, you're gonna get a clog, and there's only going to be one way to get that fixed, and that's by having a tank cleaner come in and clean it. It's a disaster. So do not use flushable wipes. 2, no feminine products that go in the toilet at all. This is something that we also hear from tank cleaners. They get called out, and there's all kinds of feminine products that are inside the tank. So the only 3 things are pee, poop and toilet paper, if you're using all of the right processes we've taught you, you're using the right products that we've shown you, then you have no problems. It's all gonna break down, okay? So skip those 3. I will say, some people say there's a 4th, which is puke, but I mean, let's be honest. It's fine to go in the toilet, but not something you're going to be doing, hopefully, regularly in your RV. Now, I do want to talk about waste breakdown just real quick here. If you start going on the internet, or if you have a certain company come out and clean your tanks, they're going to tell you that you don't want waste to break down inside your black tank. And this has no logical foundation whatsoever. So let me just take a second to explain this to you, because this falls into the myth category, okay? So there's a group of people out there, and let me give you the backstory to this. Back in the 80s, there were really basically 2 types of holding tank treatments: formaldehyde and bronopol. Those 2 products basically used chemicals to break through the waste inside the tank and also control odors. Well, let me just tell you this. They were not good at controlling odors. They were not good at breaking down waste. And what ended up happening was RVers were just really kind of at their wits' end. The products that were out there were not solving the problem. An industrious group of people kind of came together and started building their own home remedy versions, you know, kind of homemade concoctions of toilet treatments. And over time, people have adopted those, was because the products of yesteryear didn't work. But here's the reality. The products of today work just fine. So if you're using a holding tank treatment like we showed you, you don't need to follow this process. But here's what most of them do. It's kind of colloquially called the GEO method. Most people use Calgon, Pinesol, and bleach. And the theory is this. The Calgon, which is a water softener, keeps the tank walls slick. Pinesol goes in the tank and kills all of the bacteria. The logical argument there would be that by killing the bacteria, you get rid of the smells. And then from there, the bleach, I guess, also gets rid of the smells. But I don't know, the logic isn't totally there with these homemade concoctions. But let's talk about the Pinesol and the Calgon. The idea that Calgon is going to make your tanks evacuate the waste better, it's not that it won't work, it's just that it doesn't work that well. We've tested it out. The Calgon has no measurable effect in making the waste inside the tank rinse out better. As far as the Pinesol goes, the people who are reporting that you should use this product will tell you you should not break down waste. Here is their argument. They claim that by breaking waste down inside the tank, you're going to create a pancake batter, this sludgy buildup of waste inside there. And when you go to open the black tank, that sludge, they claim, will not fully come out. It will just slowly trickle out like peanut butter. And as it slowly comes out, there's always waste left behind. So they say you should use Pinesol, that you keep all of your poop in a solid form. The idea being that solid poop will flow out of the tank easier. Well, let me just explain a few things to you. And it's not hard for you to imagine. Imagine you're making pancakes and you have your bowl and you have your pancake batter. And yes, we know it's all thick, right? You go to pour the pancake out and that batter is just barely coming out. Well, what do you do to get it out? Simple. You just add a little water to your bowl. And as soon as you add water to the bowl, you dilute the pancake batter and it pours right out. So let me tell you this. If you have a tank cleaner who comes and tells you that your holding tank is full of sludge and batter, it's not because you broke down the waste that's the problem. It's because you're not using enough water inside the tank to allow all of that sludge to loosen up and soften up and pour right out. So it's very simple. Break down the waste. Don't trust the whole Pinesol thing. It is a total myth. I can guarantee you this is going to cause more problems than not. We've reached out to the people at Pinesol. Their official response is you should never put Pinesol in a holding tank. So that alone should be reason to not put Pinesol in. But if you ever see any kind of sludge coming out, that's a good sign you broke down the waste. It just means you need to add more water to help it flow right out, okay? So skip the Pinesol, skip the Calgon, use a good waste treatment, and make sure you use plenty of water. As I said before, water, water, water. So now we're gonna go walk outside and we're gonna actually show you how to dump your tanks, because here's what's gonna happen. Over time, depending on having 1, 2, 3, 4 people inside the RV, the more that you use that toilet, the faster you're gonna fill up your black tank. And as I mentioned, it's probably someplace around 40 gallons. So Family of 4, you can probably assume you're going to have to dump your holding tanks every 3 to 5 days. That's just the normal amount of time you're going to fill up that tank. Well, I hope that video helped you, and as you probably know, this shorter video is part of a longer series where we talk about all the wastewater aspects in your RV. So head on over and watch the rest of that video if you're interested in learning more about your gray tanks, your freshwater tanks. But until then, thanks for watching. I'm Ricky from Unique Camping and Marine. Happy camping.